Well, I've come to a point here. I'm in Bangkok, Thailand. My scenery behind me is behind my hotel room bed here, and I'm enjoying my hotel this morning. And I just thought I'd go live and talk about my next subject that I wanted to discuss with Navigator Launchpad. And I wanted to talk just a little bit about who I built it for. I think the person that can really get something out of Navigator and the whole program, the Navigator Launchpad, would be a small business owner that's frustrated. Maybe they're overwhelmed. Maybe they're stuck. Maybe they've reached a plateau in their business that is, it's not where they want to be. They want to grow more and do more, and they're just not sure how to do it because they've reached their personal, what should we say, personal professional level that they've done everything that you do when you start a business. They've gotten through a few years, maybe 3, 5, 10 years of business, and they reached a point where they've kind of outgrown themselves and they need some help. It's exactly where I was after 14 years in my insurance business. I'm the ideal client, or I was. And the idea is that as a coach, as a business coach, I know that you need to go outside yourself in order to grow. You can only grow so far without support, without help. A lot of people do it themselves by reading and studying. I mean, I've been a student of personal development, of business practices changing, not only from my career for the last 50 years, but also just myself. I've always believed that learning is the first thing that you have to do in order to do anything. You can't learn to ride a bike without riding the bike. And that's kind of the way business is. You start a business and then you grow it, and then you get to a point where you either have to learn something new or do something different, or you've got to find somebody to help you find those things that would be different and better. I was talking to a friend last night here in Bangkok, and she was talking about her business, and she's a very successful YouTuber, but she's running out, or she feels like she's running out of space to grow because of what she does and the way she does it with her YouTube channel. It's very time consuming. If you go live every day for several hours, it's a very time consuming process. And it's also a big commitment because if you're going to be live every day at the same time and make a real following, you've got to commit to that schedule no matter what you do. Now, you might be traveling, you might be wanting to travel, and it becomes difficult sometimes. Now, in her case, we talked about, what are the derivatives? What are the things that she might be able to do that would be different and still be doing the same thing, but she could do it, some of it offline, whether that's adding certain things to the business products or things that you know she's a great teacher. She's understood English. She's gone through the last 3 years with no English to learning a lot of English, and she's done really well with that. And I keep saying, teach me Thai, because I still have a problem getting the Thai. So I always want her to teach me some new Thai words so I'll understand, or phrases. I think before, uh, when I learned a little bit of Thai, learning those basic phrases, I want to buy that, or I need to use the restroom, or I need to go to a taxi. Where's the taxi stand, or whatever. You need to learn some of those basic phrases. And she was like, yeah, but that's kind of basic and boring. I'm like, but for a Farang, a foreigner like me, that's something that's needed, because nobody's, there's people who teach words, but they don't necessarily teach a concept that you can use every day. So we talked about that a little bit, and I'm sure she'll be doing some things different down the road because she's thinking right now that she needs to start to change a little bit. That space where you're starting to change is, or the knowledge that you need to change, or the stuck feeling, if you've got that, then Navigator Launchpad is definitely built for you. Um, the platform itself is, you've got to do it. I mean, it's a 5 to 10 minute conversation every day for a month with a AI chatbot. It's named Coach Jeff, and Coach Jeff talks like me, it thinks like me, and it gives you advice like I would if I were your personal coach 24/7 and available anytime you needed me. But that type of advice is oftentimes it's hard to know how to give meaningful transformational advice when you don't know the person, you don't know them very well. So the purpose of the navigator is to ask you questions and to help you answer those and get to know you really well with honest answers. And then as we get through the 30 days, to come up with a business plan for the next 30 days and to help you. And, whether it's to go into more coaching after that or just to run that business plan and then develop your next business plan yourself, I think those are all good things. But the person who really could benefit from a program like this is a small business owner that's been in business, let's say let's say 3 to 10 years, maybe longer, but they've reached a plateau in their business, and they want to get off that plateau and keep growing, or they want to get out of the business and they don't know how to do that. Um, or maybe they've just reached a point where they're frustrated, they're working harder rather than smarter, and maybe they've just need some insight as to, I need an assistant, or I need somebody to take care of my bookkeeping, or I need help with there's a lot of things that come up. I mean, I think about myself where I was a year ago and how frustrated I was. Um, that's that's a good sign that you need to have some help, and it's a trigger. Well, you can do it yourself, and I've done that myself, or you can get a coach and do it quicker and easier. And that's the whole idea between you and Navigator. You're going to get things going, and then if you want to have a personal coach, I'm going to be available, and we can talk about that. But the idea of this is that anybody can do this. It's relatively inexpensive. I suppose down the road, if you wanted to keep the Navigator going after the program, can work that out. But it's a program that's going to be available. The founders group is I'm going to require some things of you, so I'm giving you a discount, right? So the founders group really is about the first 25 people. We'll have the beta test done. This will be beta 2, I guess, and it's the next level after beta test. But I'm going to want feedback. I'm going to want information from you of how it worked, how it felt, and it's not going to take you long. It's going to take you 5 to 10 minutes a day, and if you want to spend more time than that on it, you can. But definitely you need to be involved, and we'll make sure that you get some transformation just from that business plan for sure. So that's what it's all about. We're going to have a weekly call in there that you can call in. We'll talk for an hour, maybe a lesson about something, and then have a conversation, Q&A, uh, asking and answering questions that you may need help with. And it's going to be fun. So I'm really looking forward to it. I'm hoping that this is built for you. And if it's not built for you, maybe you can pass this along to somebody who does need it or somebody that could benefit from it. I think there's a lot of small business owners that are at the point where they need a little bit of help, They need a little bit of guidance, and they need somebody to help move them along. If you know somebody like that, just let them know about it. Send them over to this playlist, this live stream that I'm doing every day. They'll learn more about it and why I'm doing it, and I think it's a good thing. So, thanks so much. Glad you took time to look and listen, and hope that all is well for you in your business. Take care and just keep moving forward. You know, one of the things that I went back and looked at. I've got a number of books that Bob Proctor signed, and he always wrote little notes when he signed a book, and almost every one was about progress. It's not about perfection. It's not about doing something perfectly, but it's about doing something persistently. And as you take that step forward, it's just continuing to move forward in a progressive manner. Remember that. Just continue moving. If you do something wrong, that's okay. If you keep moving forward, you're doing the right thing. Make it a great day. Thank you so much, and we'll talk to you soon.